pressure had got to me too much.
You're done, honestly.
Goodness me. Get me into the game. Mkers, what are you going to remove? What are you going to remove?
Let's see. Here we go. Taking a while.
Maybe they're using this time to compose themselves ahead of what could be quite a big game.
Wow.
The Nook!
All that for a Nook, man.
Inspired!
So if you can insta-lock that quicker.
An inspired choice.
Yep.
Don't forget, Demo. The winner of this game gets sent up into the upper bracket final.
And they play against 10-star.
They play against 10-star.
Which team, whoever loses this, which team drops into the lower bracket to face whoever wins on Thursday?
Unsure.
Because I would love to see Mkers versus Jailings. I'd love to see that.
A replay.
Would you not? I think we all would.
Jailings would have to beat Lampai Hotel to get through.
There's a sledge ban, so that's 2 nade operators off the board. So you're really headlocked into playing Iana and Iana only.
Not necessarily a bad thing. We do see a lot of Iana played.
I know, but still losing. Look at that coordinated.
Synergy.
And the Valk. So Mira's open, Kai's open, suppose Thatcher then's also open. Maverick.
A lot of options. I think the bans for Oregon, they're very flexible these days.
It's the state we're getting to where there's just more and more operators being flooded in who are all very good and are all warranted bans. You can't ban everyone. Yeah. Do we ever, again, this kind of topic comes up every now and again, Ollie, increase the ban size?
Someone was tweeting about it
honestly
a while ago.
I think each team could ban 2 attacks and 2 defenders. But then
I think at the point where
it's tricky. It's a tricky one.
At the risk of going down the rabbit hole at the start of round number 1, I think at the point where you can ban 2, you need to be able to save 1.
Ban, save, ban.
Yeah.
That's a good shout.
Because you have to, I think it's got to be a pick and ban system there where it's like, yes, we ban this person and we pick this person and we're going to ban this person as well.
I know people forget that there is still MOBA elements to this game. It is a FPS, but you still have characters who do different things, don't they?
Operators, we like to call them, though.
That's character's a generic term for any game you want to go for. It's generic.
Jumping into round number 1.
You think you're funny?
Mkers starting things off on the defense, taking us downstairs into Laundry, bringing that mirror window and bringing that Warden. Going to be looking to set up shop here, no doubt. There's not much that speaks to any sort of a roam game in what they have brought.
I've never seen a lineup from Wild that have screamed, we're attacking blue more than this. Monty and Cavitao and a Flores. Staple operators for a blue take. Flores is great with no mute on the board as well. It's really, really strong. You don't have to worry about dealing with wasting an nade to try and get rid of a mute jammer. It should be quite easy just to be able to slip them in, get rid of that blue shield. There's one exploding. What did that get rid of? Was that the shield? Was that the barbed wire? It was the barbed wire. So 2 left, Ollie, to get the shield. Can he do it?
Gonna need a little bit more to try and get rid of that.
Oh, he's trying to grab the ADS and
nice.
the Wamai disc.
Got the Wamai and the ADS.
Is there any more ADSs? Nope, it's free. A nade can just be utilised. And
oh, it's a shame that Ace's nade got caught up there. Sorry, he's being protected. That ADS will be coming back online. We are going to see the Twitch getting a little bit of value, though, as one of the mirror windows is opened, and arguably the most important one, the one that looks over into Freeze. Now, with the shield gone, the site starts to become a very dangerous place when there's over half the round remaining, and Wild are all ready to start pushing in.
No Kide, which is a worry for Mkers. You would have thought that maybe that would get a look in, considering you are in the basement, and obviously, as we know, that hatch is crucial to be electrified, and don't allow the attackers to have range of that. Here comes the Monty. They should know about Shaiko, because they've seen that Sori's been swinging that, hasn't he, all round so far?
Look at Giesler. He's getting away with murder with that Twitch drone. He's managed to get both mirror windows now.
I mean, that's not a big issue, though. I think that mirror window isn't really going to be a pain in the back, I think, for Wild with the push they're going for, considering that it is stemming from the Monty pushing down the blue stairs.
It depends where Giesler decides to push. We've got Aces manoeuvring his way over toward Freezer here, so he's got a good line, especially given that mirror window's been taken out. Smokes now to try and cover. The Monty is going to be activated. Lolo, he's going to find a frag as the kills do start to go in both directions, but it's all of a sudden Mkers. They have 1. Wild, they have 2. Gemini He's got a lot of holding on to do. Somehow Jay has managed to stay up throughout that whole engagement as well, which is brilliant, and leaves Gisela in a great position now to work off the back of this info.
4 smokes, so WYL can either just try and push in and just go for the kill, or they can utilize, of course, the smoke cut-off angles and try and play for this plant. There goes the smokes. In comes the plant. And all Gisela needs to do is hold an angle. A slip in towards Freezer is where he's went for, but the shield's going to cover him enough, Ollie! Oh, the turtle plant works a charm. Very fortunate, though, has to be said, the fact that WYL has been able to get away with that. Gemini is now being pressured by that Monty, and Jay can just sit here all day, toy with him. Gisela, just stay alive. Jay can just keep 180, depending where Gemini goes, feed that information. Yeah, should be an easy round. Should be!
Should be fairly straightforward. Looks as though it will be. Pistol drawn. Gisela still has the advantage here. The information being fed over. 13 seconds left to go. Gemini finds the kill, but realistically, this is now a big old game of chicken. Gemini has to come off. He's now got no longer enough time. Jay has done his job, and he's done it fantastically well, keeping himself alive there. Not easy to play the Monty in the clutch. It looks very straightforward, but let me tell you, you can mess it up quite simply, and Jay did a good job there of staying alive and feeding that information across. It isn't the end of the world that Gisela died there, because time was always going to do the rest. Great push from WYL. Again, a very minimal take, only taking what they needed and having a good, concise effort in and around that blue stairs. It got close for a time, though. Coming down to 2 versus 2, it's never guaranteed.
Also very fortunate that it was the Monty planting, wasn't it?
Oh, the backwards turtle plant.
The fact that Gisela's allowed that to happen is a bit of a shock. You know, if that isn't a Monty, that round's lost.
Absolutely.
Very fortunate. Very, very fortunate. WYL are going to go with the same attacking lineup. I'm sure whenever they realize that the bomb site is not downstairs, they will change things up. As Mkers wanting to go upstairs now. A change of scenery for them. However, pretty much the exact same lineup, isn't it, apart from the Mira? I think they bring in the Mute this time, isn't it? The other 4 remain the same.
Maybe the threat of the Flores, realising that that's going to be something actively played, given there's only 1 set of nades. You need to have a little bit of something to deal with that. We've seen a bit of a change up on the Wild side of things.
Big change, 4 changes.
Got rid of the Glaz, got rid of the Capitao. Sorry, we've brought the Glaz, got rid of the Capitao, and got rid of the old Monty. Going to be bringing Ace as a form of hard breach.
Nomad there as well to maybe cover off their armory stairs. It is always interesting seeing the Glaz. Mostly, I think, because they want the nades, I think, for this bomb site specifically. Because Glaz doesn't offer a lot, I think, for the top floor on Oregon. I think he's much better for Blue, being able to smoke off, you know, Blue being able to push in, swing elbow. Whereas upstairs, I don't think you get the same value out of a Glaz because it is so close-quartered and Glaz isn't the best in those scenarios, Ollie. You're
going to have to play him outside, aren't you? You're going to have to play him maybe double window or give him a long angle to try and keep hold of.
Look at the lineup. He is there simply because he is nades. There's no other smokes.
Yeah.
That WYL have. So, yeah, Jay, you are hard stuck with the OTS or the Baron. Remember, the Glaz still has the Baron, which is really nice. Lolo, how's he been able to pick up that kill? Just wanders up the laundry stairs, eliminates one of the nade carriers, who was, I think, trying to open up the breach, which they've done successfully. They've removed the mute jammer, but you still lost a player. Is that worth it? I suppose the goal's been done, but you would have liked to have done that without losing anyone, wouldn't you?
Lolo's still on the prowl here as well. Now, Attic's been reinforced, so he hasn't got the luxury of making that rotation, but he could still keep himself alive in and around meeting, maybe look for a later rotation, but the roaming mute, potentially.
I mean, it works.
It does work. The C4 is a really nice thing to have.
The only one. There's the nade from Jay from below, so you can see why WYL want to bring the extra set of nades. It's because it is so good for this top floor. It's crucial to be able to find picks. Misses the second one though, Ollie, but still, you've managed to eliminate 1. Lolo, here he comes now, Ollie. He's looking to rotate in, and it should be an easy kill. Yeah, it will be. Goes unchecked for the entire round. Finds a second kill on the roam. Now Wilder a bit stunned. Canio, here he comes. Man from Switzerland. Can he make us a Toblerone, Ollie? Can he make it happen?
Wilder just stalling out for the time being. They've got everything open that they need, but they do need to still burn through a little bit of this utility. Final Toxic Babe canister is going to be sent out, and Jay eventually is going to shut Lolo down from below. Now, he didn't actually get to use that C4, but he still did a heck of a lot of damage. It leaves BZ in a bit of a clutch situation.
Does indeed.
3 versus 1. Everybody tucked away for the time being. Not really giving themselves up. 20 seconds to sit on your hands and not make any further mistakes. A bulletproof camera that's going to give all the information away that they need. And a nice little double peek there. Doro taking advantage of the already distracted Ace and just hitting him with a bit of a swing.
Yeah, Doro's done well there just to hold up. Wild, that's the first time where the one-dimensional push has not worked.
Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't work for top floor. It doesn't work. Mostly because I think the top floor bomb site, the kid's bedroom, you have probably 3 or 4 main ways. I'll go with 3 main ways. You have the main breach, you have attic, and you have white stairs or double window, whatever one you want to go for. That's your main ways. You need to be hitting at least 2 of those out of the 3. You cannot just push from 1 because it's so easy to hold crossfires to that top floor. If you're solely pushing in from the generator breach, you can get held from attic, you can get held from the kid's bedroom door, and you can get held from the bunk beds. If you push from attic, oh, they can't hold you from attic no more. That's one of the ways you can't get killed then. That's what it's all about. It's about giving yourself more options, but also taking options away from the defense. That's why you have to hit multiple avenues in that bomb site, and that's why it didn't work. And especially because, I mean, Wild just... Sure, you're going one-dimensional, but whenever you're giving easy picks away,
yeah, that was the big problem.
As the roaming mute,
yeah,
never going to work.
Lolo got away with a lot in that round. Wild aren't going for the same lineup that they used in round number 1. Gemini, hello? I'm not sure if he was chasing a drone or trying to pre-fire onto a spawn there, but he got away with whatever he was trying to do regardless. Sorry as well, just tidying things up a little bit. A couple of drones lost there from Wild. Now, they aren't going for the same lineup, though. Previously, we saw the Monty, we saw the Capitao, a very direct, focused effort inside of blue. This time, we've got a lot more flexibility coming out.
You have the Habana, you can get the hatches open. Again, no kite for Mkers is really worrying for me. I think it's a necessity for this basement if it is open. Sure, Thatcher is up. We get that Thatcher is going to be an easy combo, but Wilds, are they a team that's going to be screaming, we need a Thatcher, because we know they like to play a lot more on the danger side? They want operators who can bring more utility than just the EMP grenades.
It would force them into a Lion or something like that to bring the secondary EMP gadget.
Even the EMP gadgets, they're not even a guarantee because they could be anywhere in the hatch, and you really have to, you know, that's the thing about the EMP grenade gadgets, is you need to know exactly where you are using them, because if you're off by an inch, Ollie, it's done. Thatcher, it's a no-brainer.
It's a very short radius on the blast. A couple of claymores being placed out. No Nomad this time, so flanks not quite as much of a concern as maybe for other sites. As last time Mkers defended the basement, they really turtled down onto it. For the most part, they're doing very similar here as well. Getting the hatches open, Jay got himself positioned there at the top of those back stairs. Giesler, how much can you get away with this time? Bulletproof camera, thank you very much. Not really got too much else to go at. Of course, could be searching for other small pieces of utility, but with no mirror, that's going to be the main focus.
Shield and blue also eliminated. So there is options for Wild to go for the traditional blue stairs and elbow take, but instead they are looking to forward themselves into a position where they can assault onto the laundry freezer. A much easier part of the map to gain control of. As we've seen, there was really no contest from Mkers that they could put up. However, executing onto this site is a much different scenario, Ollie. As we know, there's a lot more angles that you need to cover off. You need to find picks. You cannot plant in a 5v5. It's impossible. There's too many angles to get swung from. Lolo takes advantage of said swings and finds one. There's a good swing from Akwi. Bats them back inside a freezer. And this should be all she wrote for a while. They've stagnated. The push has not worked. This is what I mean. The execute, it is tricky, Ollie. If you're not ready for it, you will be punished.
Pretty flat-footed there from Wild, honestly. Mkers, they didn't have to do a lot of hard work to pick up a flawless round there. They just swung out and won their gunfights. They had a little bit of information, but they didn't have loads. They just knew where the push was coming from, and the majority was coming through Freezer. A little bit on those back stairs as well. Mkers showing just how powerful that site can be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the basement, I mean, I'm not a fan of laundry freezer. How many times have I sat here and told you I do not like that attack? Because I just never see it work. I think it's so tricky to execute on, because I think the double door is a key one, because it's so easy. There's 3 different angles you can get shot from in that doorway. Why would you want to push that? Why? In what universe? Whereas you can go blue, and blue's just a straight-up 1v1 gunfight.
I am surprised that Wild didn't go for the same lineup.
Again, it's just my humble opinion.
Round one.
Just my humble opinion. These are the players at the end of the day. I'm just here as but a mere puppet in the grand scheme of things.
You're just the voice.
I played the game.
I've started saying that.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It all comes down to this demo. A lot comes down to this third choice bomb site here on Oregon and how well you can either defend or attack it.
Yeah, so remember, Wild have already done a good job at winning a round in the basement.
They have.
And that's usually the tricky thing, is winning the upstairs and winning the downstairs. It's all about the mid floors where you should be winning attacks and where defenders do struggle. Wild, I think, are in a very favourable position where they can just break them here now and then, and they can just go 2-2 up.
Ooh, great peek there by Jay, no doubt off the back of a little bit of info. Immediately gets himself onto the rappel, hits the lion scan, freezes the defender. Little pre-fire, and that is all that was required. Sorry, taken out, Kaneo. He's got that double window open now as well. Akwi going to be holding it from below. There is still a presence up here on this top floor, and an aggressive Lolo trade shots through the wall, neither dishing the finishing blow. Another lion scan comes, but it is a fraction too late. Lolo has already made his way to the relative safety of Pit.
Wild can just control the game. They've got the opening pick, which is always the difficult thing, I think, for the third bomb site, is being able to segregate somebody, especially whenever we know that Mkers and the third bomb site, they're going to play compact with each other. They're going to make sure that they don't give away these single picks. Wild, they kind of broke the mold where they just got a bit of a cheese kill, has to be said. It was a cheese kill in the window, you know, but this is where Wild, they've already stunned Lolo. Lolo tried to get some kills back. It hasn't worked for them. 4v5. Surely at this stage, Wild could just take their time, clear above. They have a hatch that they can drop into for kitchen. They have a hatch they can utilize on the attic also. This is free range from Wild. There's no... If they don't win this attack, Ollie, I don't know what to say.
The thing that concerns me about Makers at the minute is they've only got one C4. Gemini's already used his, so any hope at trying to deny a plant or anything like that is going to rest on that remaining C4 in Lolo's hands. He's very low HP. And of course, Doro has got 3 Toxic Babe canisters. Kaneo, he's been able to rip open the floor, and no one's going to be able to sit inside a kitchen now. Yep. You know that that's going to be a place that you are going to be very vulnerable indeed. Another Lion Scan coming out just to root these players even further. Wild starting to frame themselves up a little bit here. Akwi gets himself a really nice 1v1 there onto Gisela. I don't think Gisela was expecting that at all. Lolo, he's searching for the angle, but just can't quite find it. Goes for the C4, but it is going to miss. Kaneo keeps himself out of harm's way and picks up the kill, maintaining that man advantage here for Wild.
30 seconds, still time. Still time for Wild, but they may want to start forming up for their plant. Still smoke grenades that they have to go through, but look where the smoke is, Ollie. Nowhere to be found to defend that kitchen. Gemini does not have a C4, cannot deny it. Diffuser goes down. Now everything can be held from above for Wild. There's Kaneo holding from set above angle. It's going to have to be a retake. It has to be a top floor retake. Gemini will be the last man remaining. He's going to try his best, but surely there's no way Wild are going to let him get away with it. Walks in towards Trophy. There should be information on him, should be calls. Oh, Kaneo does get picked off, but now they know where he is. They know where he's going to be upstairs. The Magnum comes out, misses the shots, and Jay punishes him. Nice attempt there from Gemini for the retake, but Wild, as easy as you like, Ollie.
I worry a little bit for Jay there because the kill came through. He's still looking through the floor.
He is just, I don't know, he's... I mean, it's his place that it does feel very, he's just up in the air. Because we see him on the attack sometimes, Ollie. I've highlighted it before, where he's just, I don't know where it is. He's in space, isn't he? Spaceman. Space Cadet.
Well, he got the job done there regardless. It was always going to be a tough ask there for Makers and Gemini specifically to clutch that round out. And we said that a lot relies on that tertiary bomb site. If you can attack it, or more importantly, if you can't defend it, it does leave you a little bit vulnerable, especially when you've already dropped a map on round on the basement.
And Wild will... Well, depends on if Makers win this round. Wild will get another chance at the basement, which they have won. There is big possibility for an even split here for Wild, which I think is massive.
Huge. Huge indeed.
Hey, they could break them here in the top floor if Wild realize what they've done incorrectly, which is just that one-dimensional push.
I was going to talk about how a lot rests on how Lolo plays this round. He did a great job on the Roman mute previously, and then I see the 6 picks coming in demo, and I see we've got Jay going for the older Rooney. Now, there's a couple of different options. With the way that he's spawned, he's Amar. I always get them confused. I don't even get them confused. I know exactly the differences, but it still catches me out. There's a couple of options for the Amaru here. You can get yourself straight into T3.
Big tower, that's the go-to, isn't it? You can gain that early advantage. If he went for it, he would have been slaughtered by Akwi, who is playing in towards the top floor. They have a drone on him. They know he's here. It's just, what are they going to do about it? I'm looking at the rest of WYL. They are just going for bedroom. Nobody is towards the big tower trying to assist said Jay on the Amaru. WYL, they're just very forward-thinking again, trying to go for the clear in towards Trophy. Akwi will drop off now. Does he reinforce the wall? Yes, he will go for it. In goes Jay now, knows that it is going to be clear. He has R-pitch gadgets, Ollie. He can play as a solo man to push in towards Attic, which we mentioned is needed. You need somebody else pushing another avenue off this attack.
Again, Lolo, a lot comes down onto him here. He has got the hatch open, so he can look to make a rotation.
He's there. He's there just to stop them jumping double window. So, I mean, this is what I like to see from Mkers. What did we mention about Cafe? They were getting away with murder. It looks as if they're actually going to be ready for these kind of cheese moments that WYL could pull out.
I mean, as soon as Lolo realizes that no one's likely to push through double window, he can then look to try and make a bid for it.
Yeah.
Doro, we're challenging that angle with the shotgun. We are going to see a big rotation come out here as well. We do have Attic open, but for the meantime, Demo, no one's actually playing into it. Jay's switched off.
Oh, he's still there. There he is.
Just going to be holding back from a little bit deeper. He's got to time this well. He needs to try and time this in coordination with the rest of the team pushing through. And as we can see the stack up come in, that's exactly what's going to happen now. Jay just looking for a little bit of assistance here. There are a couple of ADSs that do need to be burned here. Doro going to be full white flash. Jay is going to go for that swing, but the shotgun at close range. Doro, he gets the job done, and that entirely neutralizes any threat that they would see through Attic. Giesler from below attempts a nade, but it isn't successful. So still all even at 4 versus 4.
Canio rotating towards Attic, knowing that, hey, we've lost the Attic guy. We need to replace him. We need that other avenue of approach. It's good to see from WYL. They've realized the issues, and there we go. Canio will find Dora. Why is Dora pushing out in towards Attic? For what purpose? I have no idea. And that has really gave the game away, I feel, for Mkers now, because they are in a very tricky position. They have one player below who's trying to hold on to that double window. Akwi does find BZ, but has no control of Attic. Even he's going to drop down now. It leaves just one player holding on to white stairs, Ollie. The rest of them are below. Surely it's going to be an easy plan. Where's the diffuser? Giesler has it. All WYL need to do is just sit and hold the flank. They have the nomads to do so, Ollie. What's going on with Mkers? Why have they left the site? Why? Well,
the C4 has failed miserably as Aces, he picks up a kill over onto Sorry. Lolo, you've now got to try and fight your way back with Akwi. Very difficult situation to find yourself indeed. Kaneo, he's going to hold on to top of Y, but gets domed! Sit down! Giesler, you've now got to try and hold on. Gives himself away. A couple of shots into the back. It's not going to be the finishing blow. Giesler is inside of Attic. Has good eyes on the diffuser, but Akwi, he can start to try and diffuse here. Lolo, you've got to push up. You've got to try and waste as much time as possible. Akwi hits the shot onto Giesler. There's plenty of time to disable that planted diffuser. What a clutch by Mkers!
I have no idea. Some absolute blinders of shooting from Lolo. The shots, the peek from White onto the man behind the bomb. I just...
Mkers should never get away with that round.
Like, first of all, what's Dora doing in Attic? I have to come back to that. In what universe have you just fronted up, killed the guy in Attic? That was a great shotgun blast.
A Wanderer.
It was brilliant. The Wanderers! They're back in town! One night and one night only.
I mean, it seems like every night.
Well, they'll be back on Thursday.
Every night of CL, there is a Wanderer.
Just keep in mind, these are supposed to be the best of the best. We still have the lower bracket teams to go through and topic Wanderers. God. Be like a cattle drive. But honestly, he's pushed up there. Don't know why he's done that. He's gave the game away. Canio straight on the money, straight into Attic. Great bit of adaptation, knowing that they need to push that way. Akwi has then found a kill. I don't know who it was on to. Was it the man in double window? I think it was. I'm not sure. He killed somebody. Then he falls back in the kids, which is good, because you can still hold Canio and Attic. He drops the hatch. There's already a player below. The last man's on white stairs. They've just forfeited everything. And I'll be honest, sure, they're probably thinking, oh, that worked. It shouldn't work, though.
No.
They've relied on life shots to hit, which shouldn't be how you play the game. And I should know, I've played the game. I should know. Tell you can't rely on it.
Well, let's see if Wild can compose themselves here. Going to be attacking into this basement. They have been successful here before, but you've got to be sat here thinking that this could already be 3-2 in their favour. Aqui.
Oh, Mkers, I hate this.
Maybe missed his opportunity there. He's going to have to fight through this air jab.
There's
a huge rush going in onto the site. Giesler credited with one immediately.
I can't believe it.
He finds one. Gemini, can he detonate the C4? He's getting pushed into the corner by the Monty. The information exchange is going to be there. Does find the kill onto Jay. Dora, he's got himself downed in and amongst the fray. So effectively, this is a 4 versus 2. Wild have angrily said, we are pushing in and we are not losing this round. Potential for a revive here, but the drone comes in, the Rotero takes him out. Gemini still stuck inside of Freezer. He's going to be full white flash. Lolo, you hit some great shots last time. You're going to hit a whole lot more this time, but no! Wild, they shut it all down with a quick site rush.
What's happened? I don't even know what's happened. I don't even know. Just...
That's the Wild effect right there. Something doesn't go their way, they lose a round, they maybe feel a little bit disgruntled about it, they channel that into aggression into the next.
They've went for the same push, right?
Similar, yep.
But it's as if they just necked 10 energy drinks and then went for the push.
Yeah.
Everything's happened 10 times speed. Honestly, I was worried there for a minute because there's a lone man in Big Tower. I don't know if they knew he was up there. Because it's tricky, because it looked as if they didn't, because there was moments there where they actually could have died from the man in top tower. But at the same time, they've rushed. Is there a reason why they've rushed knowing that they're film sight?
Maybe.
There was a man underneath the default cam holding a player in the tower.
Well, they air jabbed it as well.
I don't actually know if they knew. I have no idea. I generally missed most of that.
I think that they know. Because they air jabbed it as well. Now, if you're going for a rush, you may as well use your air jabs wherever. So it could just be a coincidence.
Oh, what a Pavlova.
Wild have at least managed a 3-3 split here.
Which is brilliant.
It's good.
Yeah.
2 rounds on the basement, 1 round in a tertiary site.
Not too shabby.
Not a bad attacking phase. Makers, they now have to do the same or better to stay in this.
They've brought out their own Amaru, Ollie. So they have. I wonder where that's going to go. Oh.
How's Jay nearly half health already?
What's he done? Has he spawn peeked?
15 seconds, man.
Has he spawn peeked or has he been shot? No one Jay spawn peeked.
Front door.
Of course. So we're seeing a castle extension, Ollie. They're going to try and hold meeting. Haven't seen this for a long time, Ollie. It's been a while since I think I've seen a team trying to really extend in towards meeting. It happened for like about, I don't know, it was like a crazy 6 weeks where everyone was doing it. Everyone was holding in towards meeting, but yeah, it's been a while. The idea is so basement doesn't give you a lot of roam potential. And any roam potential you go for is always going to be a bit risky. Meeting is one of those where, yes, you know, it's not too bad to go for. You can try and waste a bit of time, but still, Canio's stuck in a box. That's what he's in, a kill box. And all it takes is for Mkers to maybe open up the hatch above him, and he's neutralized. Not only that, Wild have also opened up the hatch for Mkers as well. So, like, even just site control has been given away, essentially, if Canio gets eliminated. Speaking of that hatch, no hard breach gadget on the Buck or the Amaru. That's actually going to cause them a bit of issues, Ollie, because that Habana needs to rotate all the way above to open up that hatch.
Only 10 pellets on the Habana as well, so you've not got unlimited funds there. Doro can get the drone in, find that the player has since dropped.
Okay.
Halfway point in the round, not a bad time to be dropping off. I think they could have held it out for a little bit longer there.
I think they could have, because you've wasted, what, a minute and a half? Sometimes that is actually what it takes teams to even gain control of meeting in the first place, doesn't it?
It is.
I suppose you've wasted a bit of utility. Oh, I like that castle barricade onto E-Box. That's actually a nice little adaptation. You know, we mentioned before, you've opened up E-Box as a whole, like you've opened that up. That's actually quite a bad thing because the attackers could lose like a hard breach, but then you've still given them what they want, which is that hatch. But you've countered that by utilizing the castle barricade, so even if they do drop into E-Box, they're still going to be stuck. So it's not a bad shout, honestly, from WYL just to kind of lock that up.
Look at Kaneo's position as well. He's playing in on elbow, but he's got the wall to his right, to his left, sorry, reinforced. So he's literally playing this till the bitter end. He's stuck. Now he has to fight his way out of here as the kills do start to come in. He's going to get caught full white flash and immediately taken on out. But a lot of damage has already been done here to Mkers.
Did you see that from Sori? He was just going to try and full sprint in towards elbow, but it's been reinforced, so he has been shut down because of that. Aces. playing close on the E-Box, eliminates him, and now 1v2. Wild have honestly thrown Mkers for a loop. They've done a lot of unorthodox plays, Ollie, and it's really hindered Mkers.
It's worked out for them quite well. 11 seconds here for Gemini to find himself a couple. Pre-firing. Doesn't seem to have a great read on exactly where everybody is. The diffuser cold on site and red pings available for Wild. The round just going to trickle out here as now the team really wanting to face up onto that one. Wild knowing they don't need to take that engagement.
Yeah, Mkers probably looked at the setup and thought, okay, we haven't seen somebody hold meeting for a while. That's new. Okay, we've seen them drop a minute 20. Oh, okay, we can use E-Box. Actually, we can use this now. Oh, it's castled now. That's new. I haven't seen that in a while again. All right, okay, let's try and go for laundry freeze. Oh no, we've been shut down. Okay, we need to go for blue. We need to go for E-Box. We need to do something. Okay, I'm going to take this 1v1 an elbow. Oh, I've killed him. Oh, the wall's reinforced. What? The wall's reinforced? Like, that's what it felt like. Yeah. It felt as if Mkers just kept hitting a door, and then they've opened that door, and there's another door behind it. And guess what, Ollie? They've opened that door, and there's another one.
Is there a prize behind any of these doors?
No. That's the thing. You've wasted your time.
Well, there could be a prize for Wild. Potentially be seeing them in the upper bracket final at this rate if things do continue. But we can't get too far ahead of ourselves because that was the basement.
Wild have just been... The playstyle for Wild for me is edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And I do enjoy that type of siege. I think
it's exciting siege to watch.
Keeps the blood pressure high.
It does. It's exciting siege to watch.
But sometimes it doesn't always scream consistency, which is probably the only downside I think from Wild is sometimes they can be a little bit of a miss in some rounds.
They've been fairly consistent tonight. I mean, been a couple of rounds that we'd maybe look at.
Can we also come back to an narrative about Mkers tonight?
Well,
I still...
this is the other thing, isn't it?
Again, the cafe, weak, very, very weak. I think here in Oregon, again, I think not much. I don't know. Again, we've hyped up this team, and I'm not saying Wild are like a team that you should be beaten about, but I also think they've made Wild look a lot better than maybe what Wild I think should have, in my opinion as well. I don't know. Am I being too harsh? Am I being too cynical here?
I think we expect more from Mkers.
Yeah, I do expect more. Yeah. Like, again, I'm using 10-star for the benchmark.
Well, they are the team at the moment.
Like, are 10-star going to allow Wild to get away with stuff? No chance.
Maybe we'll get to see it soon.
Could do.
The mute jam are causing a little bit of issue in this round. We've seen a couple of attempts at X-Cara pellets going off, but they've been caught. Akwi is going to be crouching around inside of Freezer. Still, we haven't seen that barricade get up. There's actually 2 mute jammers deployed onto that as well to keep it nice and safe.
I am worrying about the lack of soft destruction from Mkers. That's been very evident. That's the game plan that Wild are going for. That's, again, second round where they're bringing in the castle. Sledge is a great counter to the castle, Ollie, isn't he? Oh, but no, he's banned. Whenever he's banned, you need to be looking at other options. And right now, Akwi is just taking a bit of a stroll downstairs, playing that lurking role. But, yeah, I think just the soft destruction. Castle barricades are up. You need a Sophia, in my opinion, I think, for that lineup.
Yes.
You have, what, 1 Gone 6 from Dokkaebi? And maybe 1 as well from the back. So I suppose you do have that to utilize, but...
Why has it not been used? Everything's still closed. We're seeing at the moment, Mkers, they're just wandering around that bottom floor. We've got Lolo in below. Sure, he can use the skeleton key to get a little bit of an advantage. They've got themselves a couple of kills, which is maybe the more surprising thing here and speaks more to how Wild have played this round, because they've just been caught out of sight. You look at the Remainers, and they're in really strong positions.
They are in strong positions, Ollie, but like you mentioned, lack of refrags is going to hinder, I think, Wild. Mkers being able to pick up kills in quick succession without losing anyone. Just too much of a roam game almost. I know it maybe sound a little bit weird to say, but almost trying too hard to go for those roams, and you get picked out just because there's one guy sitting in a corner, Crack's walking downstairs in Freezer, and Gemini on the window eliminates Aces, and Wild are being picked apart, Ollie. This is where Mkers, again, the gun skill comes into great effect. They win their ones. They will be able to dismantle the setup. The jumps happened. Gisela has missed his man. Diffuser going to go down. Akwi finds another, and a flawless from Mkers. Good response, Ollie, to get them back, get their head back in the game.
Mkers have just picked Wild apart there. And it wasn't even down to a great coordinated push or good utility usage. I think they used their utility fairly well. There was a couple of things that didn't get done. In hindsight, maybe they didn't need to get done, but they just caught Wild on a wander. Downstairs, Jay just transitioning between, not really paying any mind.
Whipping over there, sees the Wanderer.
you know, you can't afford to be giving those kills away and not actually getting those refrags.
Yep.
And it's really difficult to watch when you've got half of a team that are playing sight and playing really structure, and you've got another half of the team that are just out and about. I know that happens, and that makes a team. You know, you have people that go out and roam, you have people that play sight. But when there's a really big disconnect between those two, that's when things start to really fall apart. Mkers, fantastic job there of picking up that top floor. Is that going to be their site? Is that going to be the basement site that WYL were able to find? They've picked up a round on attack now. Again, a lot comes down to this third choice bomb site. Which way are we going to see it go?
Mkers immediately changing up the lineup. FACEIT comes in. Good pickup. That automatically screams to me, Ollie, is that they're going to try and go for the tower take because you can create that gigantic opening on the tower stairs, double wall. Obviously, kitchen's still an option, but it's not often you would see the FACEIT be brought in just to open up that single wall, Ollie. Let's see what they want to go for. Could try and go for the sweep above, I suppose. Also, look where Lolo is. He is immediately in towards bedroom, Ollie. This is a quick, aggressive push. Are WYL going to be caught by it? Oh, Lolo sees somebody. Akwi also comes up the stairs at the same time. It's going to be a trade-off. Oh, WYL to hold it firm. And another one comes out of nowhere. A free-pronged attack from Mkers. What?
As soon as you think you've got one and dealt with them, another pops up out of nowhere. I think Gemini did a great job at catching up there because he was not near Lolo at all at the start of that. Really good little push between Lolo and Akwi. I thought that Akwi had him, honestly, at the top of those white stairs.
Shotgun.
But a quick shotgun blast saw him dead. Gemini, whilst he's done a good job of stabilising here and maintaining an equal man count, you've still got to think that there's a lot of work to do. You've lost a couple of nades in that approach. You've lost a little bit of soft breach in terms of Ash and what they are bringing in this round, the secondary breaching gadget.
I am worried for WYL. I don't think they're in strong positions to go for the refrag, but then Aces just does that. There goes the refrag, and nobody is there to be able to refrag onto Aces. This is what I mentioned, Ollie. They're not in great positions to go for that. BZ has the echo cam.
Hello?
BZ. Oh dear, diffuser's been planted. Gieslas went for the swing, almost catches Gemini, who's just on an absolute tear. Now it's a 1v1, but no! Dora swings around using that single wall that was opened up. I just am in disbelief.
Great round from Mkers.
The echo?
I love the aggression that Mkers brought in that round.
That was go big or go home.
Yes, it really was.
We're just going for it. We are full sending. We do not stop. We never stop. And they didn't. They were always moving. They were always gaining ground. And I don't think WYL's were ready for it at all, in the slightest.
Mkers haven't shown that level of aggression or confidence all night long. And they bring it out when it matters the most. Now they've actually taken a lead here on their attacks. We are going to see a timeout. WYL have called it. Probably about time. Can't be letting too many defenses slip here. Albeit they've lost a tertiary site and they've lost a top floor, so it isn't the end of the world if they can win and continue to win downstairs in basement. They could edge it out to an overtime, but that isn't going to be good enough. They want to get this win clean in regulation. This also gives Mkers a bit of time to congratulate themselves and say, yep, that worked. Are we going to do more of that? Are we going to do less of it? Have we got a bit of confidence back? What is it going to be? For all that Mkers brought a slightly different lineup there, and we saw the Thermite, we saw a few intentions. It seems like they are willing to make that aggressive call of go, 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 go. Yeah. Their top floor roam clear was probably the best we've seen.
You can't really do it though for this site. You cannot say go, go, go.
This is where things, well, WYL did.
Fair enough.
WYL did. I don't think that Mkers will, and I agree. The lineup doesn't speak to Mkers screaming go, go, go on this site.
They could. Obviously, it's still possible, but I don't think they will.
No, I don't.
Just off my hunch, I think because it is the basement. One thing I also wanted to bring up with kind of comparisons with both sides on the defense is I still feel as though they make it tricky for themselves to refrag each other a lot of the times. I feel as if both teams have been culprits of playing very stagnated away from one another, and you're allowing these 1v1s to happen. And you're allowing these refrags to happen, but you're not doing anything in response. Like, for example, if you know that they've just completely blitzed bedroom, and you know that they've blitzed in towards attic, in what universe is the Echo realistically going to be expecting somebody to be pushing big tower? I think you can say the same about Mkers and Cafe as well whenever they were defending. In what universe are they expecting players to come from these parts of the maps if you know they're only committing to one side? I think both teams have been very one-dimensional in how they've attacked today. Yeah, there hasn't been any, oh, they've hit from this side, then they've hit that, then they've hit this area. It's just all in. All in.
And as a result, sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. It hasn't been a consistent strategy.
It's worked a lot more than I think it should have. I'll tell you that much. I think defense should be a lot more punishing this evening, but it's strange because I was saying about how the attacks, I think, last week weren't very good. But today, I think the attacks have...
They've stepped up.
I mean, I wouldn't say they're great attacks, but defense today has been a bit mediocre.
A bit wobbly.
Haven't been reactive enough.
WYL, for the most part, are going to be on the site. They've got themselves all tucked in quite nicely. Mkers, they've done that due diligence. They have that roam cleared out. We mentioned in the last round demo with the extension that WYL brought. They brought the castle barricades. They made everything quite complex, and they dropped off at around the halfway point. Mkers are in a very similar position at this point in the round, and WYL haven't had to extend a lot of that utility. Instead, they've got some things on site that are going to be a little bit more handy for them. Mainly those Vulcan canisters. They're going to be able to delay a lot of area and a lot of time with that utility.
So much. 2C4s. Goyo canisters, like you mentioned, smoke grenades, everything in the world. Goyo canisters are probably the best thing that you can have right now because they are in positions where, because the basement is really small in terms of the rooms you need to plant in, you pop that Goyo canister. Not only does it cover off the single doorway, it also covers off the run-in, the single wall run-in also. So it can be crucial. There's the one in the double doorway. And they last for 30 seconds. Basement is a very long, slow, drawn-out bomb site. If you are playing the strategic way of playing it, that's where the canisters can be amazing for the defense.
Lolo's just picked up Jay with a great shot there. A nice nade coming in as well, going to force the player to reposition. Aqui and Lolo, they double down, picking up one apiece. They might have Goyo canisters demo, but if you're not going to use them, they are no good. Caneo, next one to fall as BZ is left in the clutches. Mkers, when they decide it's go time, it is go time. Flawless round attacking onto that basement. 3 attacks in a row here on Oregon.
Aggressive Mkers. It took us a while to see it.
Where has this team been?
It just looks as if they've realized that the game plan has not been working for them, and we're just going to change it up. We're going to mix it up. We're going to commit. We're going to go big. We're going to go, if we have to go home, we will. But they're ready. I mean, it just looks as if they're playing with absolutely no fear. It is the definition of die for the badge.
Yeah.
That's what you need to have. No indecisiveness. Nobody's saying, oh, I don't know about this one. Oh, I don't know. They're straight to the point. If you say you're pushing down highway into 3 different angles, you're doing it. Like, what did we just see from Aqui? He's pushed down Death Alley. He doesn't care. He's looked at the Undertaker. He's looked him in the face and said, I don't care.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. WYL, it seems like they've been stunned.
Of course they have been, yeah.
This is the biggest and most opposition that they've come up against so far. And they haven't really dealt with it very well, Demo.
No.
They haven't dealt with this aggression very well at all.
It's that trifecta. Gemini, Lolo, Aqui, the 3 players that we know from last year, Ollie.
Yeah,
the
danger.
3 players that we know are the danger, the invitational players as well. We have to obviously keep that in mind. If those 3 start cooking up something special, whew, it's a good 3-course meal, that.
It'll start a main dessert. Let's see if WYL can keep themselves in this one. It was looking fairly locked down for them. After their attacking phase, you think 4 rounds, 3 rounds on the attack. That's a pretty good swing for Oregon. It makes it go, yeah, we can pick 3 rounds up as well.
It's more the fact that they won the last round, I think, is really...
They've won all 3 sites.
Upset the apple cart.
All 3 sites now. Now, as WYL, you go, well, what do we do? Where do we go? We haven't got a site that we can consistently go to and pick up a result, so we've got to try and make a bit of a change here. That change hasn't been roaming. It hasn't been to, stack the site as much. They've instead gone for a couple of catches. We've got the YMI coming in. We've got the Jaeger coming in. We've got some of the tools that we saw last time. I just hope that they use them this time, Demo. We didn't see a Vulcan canister exploded last time, and it was too little too late.
I think there was one, but most of it did come just from pushing in highway, which was the main issue. I think that's where WYL really suffered from, was just leaving that up to chance. They've brought in the extra fortification. They're having, I'm sure, all the ADSs, all of the WAMITs stacked up. towards Pillar, which is probably the correct call. That is where everything stemmed from. There was good utility burn, plenty of flashbangs to utilize for Mkers. Nades obviously rolling in. This time they have the Ying Ollie, which makes things even more dangerous, because that is what, 6 burns you get now? You get 6 extra burns to utilize.
I'm not sure if Sorry missed through that Candela or not, but it didn't seem to have the desired effect. Nice little angle being opened up there that's going to look onto the bottom of the stairs. It gives Aces a narrow corridor in which he can work and an opportunity for some utility to be sent through to burn that ADS.
Oh, no.
And, of course, to let that Ying canister do the business. Lolo, unfortunately for him, doesn't see the Wamai disc, but a drop has happened. And Akwi's got himself into the site, searching out for the player on Pixel, and he's going to find him. The kills all fly through there for Mkers. They're able to get the job done. Wild. Absolutely stunned here on Oregon.
Out of nowhere.
4 rounds in a row.
Honestly,
on the attack
from Mkers. The 4 rounds was, it's a complete, makeover. It's like Homes Under the Hammer. It's just all of a sudden it's the end of the show and it's just a brand new kitchen.
They've put a new carpet in, they've put some curtains up.
Honestly.
Mkers well and truly made themselves at home on Oregon. And I'm very relieved because I'm so glad that after the first map of Cafe, we're seeing this one go to all 3.
I thought they were honestly mudded. Going to Oregon, sure, you take a bit of I would say, a limp of a first half. You're sitting there thinking, oh, well, now, WYL can really move into the defense where they were very strong on Cafe. But no, complete change up. Game plan out the window, essentially, for Mkers. They tried something new and it worked.
Nice to see that aggression from Mkers. Let's see what our desk has to say about that. They will dissect that game and set us up for Clubhouse. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few.